Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, Marie. Today I'll be doing the mid-year book freakout tag. Before I get started, if you are new to this channel, please don't hesitate to subscribe down below as well as hit the notification bell. But I am actually a little behind on this tag this year. I wasn't even sure if I wanted to do this tag, but I don't know, I just thought it would be a good way for me to just kind of give a recap of how my reading has been this year, what my thoughts are so far, etc. And this tag is honestly one of the best ways to do so. So let's just get right into the first question. As always, I have my phone over here, and question number 1 is the best book you read so far in 2022. This is hands down Project Hail Mary by Andy Weir. This book was just so freaking good. I haven't read a book that was sci-fi that literally made me laugh out loud so hard and just smile and was just happy throughout this entire book. And this was honestly this was like one of the main books this year that I gave 5 stars. It was a solid 5 stars. Loved everything about it. I love the dialogue, I love the plot, I love the characters. Like, there's a huge plot twist, I guess. I want to say quarter of the way into the book, I'm not entirely sure, but there's no mention about this plot twist obviously at all in the synopsis, or where this book is going to lead you. So it took me by complete surprise, but I loved everything and how this was done. So highly recommend this book if you have not checked this out already. It's just such a good fucking read. Question number 2 is the best sequel you read so far in 2022. This one will probably be House of Sky and Breath by Sarah J Maas. Honestly, this was a really close call to the first question, best book I've read so far, but I would say this is the best sequel I've read so far in 2022. I also give this book 5 stars. I just love the characters, but I feel like Andy Weir's book was just a little bit higher in terms of how well it is objectively and subjectively, whereas this book I feel like it's purely a subjective feeling. I don't know if objectively is a good book, but I enjoyed the entire time I was reading it. I had a lot of fun just going through everything, all the characters, the plot, everything, and the ending was just mind-blowing. I cannot wait until the next book. Everyone kept telling me about how amazing the last few pages were, and I didn't really understand to what extent they were referring to until I got there, and then I was mind boggled. So I love this book. I know her books are honestly a hit or miss for a lot of people. It's a lot of controversy about her as an author as well, but I've enjoyed her books, and I feel like they're just a good fun time. Question number 3 is new release you haven't read yet but want to. For this one, I am gonna go with Book of Night by Holly Black. This book just came out in May. It's now June or July almost, and I still have not read this book yet, so I definitely want to pick this up soon. I just haven't gone around to it for whatever reason, but I will get to it at some point for sure. But this is definitely a book that I am really excited to read, and hopefully I will love it. Question number 4 is most anticipated release for the second half of the year. For this one, I'm gonna go with Bloodmarked, which is the sequel to Legendborn. I adored Legendborn. If you have read my best books of 2021, I'll link that above and down below in case you want to check that out, but I love Legendborn. It was on there. I loved everything about it. I gave it 5 stars. I cannot wait to see how this next book will continue. So yeah, this is probably my most anticipated release for the second half of this year. Question number 5 is the biggest disappointment. I actually have 2 for this one because that's how disappointing I was, and that is Jade City and Keeper of the Night. This one I ended up DNFing, which is shocking. I think I read 30 pages and I was no, this is not it. I don't know if this is part of my reading slump and I'm just not in it for a really intense fantasy read, but whatever it is, I could not get into this book at all, and I haven't DNF'd the book that early on in a very, very long time, so I was shooketh. But this is one of them. The other one is The Keeper of the Night. This one I gave 3 stars, but it's not a bad book. I just expected so much more. The premise on it is so freaking interesting. The Shinigami, the Reapers, the powers, I don't know, I just felt there's a lot going on with this book that could have been so freaking good. There's a lot of potential, and I don't think the execution was really well done. So I honestly thought this was going to be a 5-star read, but it was a 3-star read, and it was barely a 3-star read kind of situation. So both of these were just very disappointing for me this year. But in terms of my biggest surprise that will be Project Hail Mary. Once again, I love this book. I wasn't expecting much from this book. I think it's because I read Artemis a couple years ago and I was like, it's good, but it's not like amazing. And I don't know, I just kind of had lower expectations going into this book just because of my previous experience with his books. But this book just blew my expectations out of the water. I was so invested, so immersed in the story. Everything about it was amazing. So once again, highly recommend this one. Moving on to question number 7, which is favorite new author. So either it's a debut author or a new to you author. I'm gonna go with Sulin Tan, who wrote Daughter of the Moon Goddess. This is her debut book, and honestly, this book just slapped. It was really freaking good. I loved everything about it. I loved the characters, the romance, the plot. I was honestly so invested with the story. I also just loved how beautiful the words were, like how beautifully it was written. And I like the fact that I went into the whole mythology of the moon goddess, which I don't think is commonly discussed in like normal literature these days, or like modern literature these days. So I was really excited to go into this book because it talked about the moon goddess from the Chinese mythology, which I was like so here for. And this book is just so good. Definitely can't wait for the sequel as well. But definitely a favorite new author of mine. Question number 8 is newest fictional crush. I don't really have crushes for books, so this is kind of a not applicable question for me. Question number 9 is newest favorite character. I would probably say Zetian from Iron Widow, just because she's such a fucking badass. I mean, the whole premise of the story is how males are the ones who are always winning, always ones who are living at the end of each like combat situation, because the females are sacrificed to power these chrysalises. But I loved her character because she just reversed the whole situation where she becomes the Iron Widow, where she's the one who's actually survives and the male are the ones who dying. And then I just love her like personality and her badassery. So like I definitely enjoy this character and just loving how she was kind of changing the society's view on females versus males. Question number 10, a book that made you cry. This is another one where it's not applicable because I don't really cry in books. I don't even cry that much in movies or TV shows, so this doesn't really apply to me. Question number 11, book that made you happy. I feel like I'm just talking about this book a lot, but this is Project Hail Mary because this book just made me happy. Like I said already, I was smiling, I was laughing, like it was a good time. Like I just had a lot of fun reading this book, and I kind of wish there was a sequel, but the way how the book ended also was very well done too, and there's no need for a sequel like at all. But this was a good time. Question number 12, most beautiful book you've bought so far this year or received. For this one, it's definitely hands down This Woman Kingdom by Taha Mafi. Ever since this book came out, I have been just gushing over how beautiful this is. Just take a look at this beautiful naked hardcover, okay, and it has the matching stenciled edges, which I think is amazing. And even the inside has this like stunning orangey, you know, like burnt orange color with the bee. I don't know, but just everything about this is so good, and plus the art print is really pretty too. I don't know, I just think this book is just such a pretty cover, like such a pretty addition, and I just can't get over how beautiful like the bee is here, the bee is over here too. Like it's just such a pretty book. So anyways, I just like love it, and that's why I display it typically like right here, because I feel like it deserves to be displayed consistently because it's just a freaking gorgeous book. Question number 13, what books do you need to read by the end of the year? So I have a shit ton of books I want to read. I still have to finish all the 22 books that I want to read for 2022. I will link that video above and down below in case you want to check that out, but I've only tackled a few of them and I have so much more left to read, so I'm going to try to like emphasize those books a little bit more towards the end of the year, especially when I do my TBRs, etc. Like go through those first. Not only that, but I still have my 5-star prediction videos to go through. So I think for that video, I've only tackled like a handful, maybe like 2 or 3, 4 books. So I still have a ton more left, and yeah, like it's just a lot of reading I have to do left for this year. My only issue right now is that I am kind of in a reading slump, and so things are just not going great for me in terms of reading. Like I'm not reading as fast as I normally do. But anyways, that's it say for this video. Let me know down below, what have you been reading this year? What are some of your best books, your worst books, you know, all that stuff. Let me know down below. Do you agree with anything I said today or disagree? Let me know below as well. But as always, if you like this video, please do give me a thumbs up. It really does help out my channel. And if you'd like to see more content of me, please don't forget to subscribe down below, as well as hit the notification bell. And as always, don't forget to follow me on Twitter and Instagram, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.